Hi, it's Christina from Brooklyn Dreams and welcome to a new video. So, today is the final wrap-up for this part of the year from me, and this time around I will be talking about the 3 SF/horror books that I read. So not a lot, because as you may have seen from my previous wrap-ups, I was very focused on fantasy. So let's just get started. First off, I have What Do Nightmares Dream Of by Antonia Mejnaric. This is a horror novella. This is a Croatian author. She writes in English. You can get her books online in ebook form, or as you can see, as paperbacks. So this is the story of Sanya. She is an elementary school teacher who has a loan and is living in this beautiful apartment that is not yet hers, and she's just kind of unaccepted in society. She feels unaccepted, depressed, very dark, oppressive, and she has had a really rough childhood because of her grandmother, and she doesn't really kind of stay in touch that much with her family, except with her priest cousin, who is also kind of, I mean, this is just me. He's a priest. I'm not particularly fond of priests, so and since she is queer, there's always some kind of discussion about that, but in fact he's actually quite okay in that regard. But what plagues Sanya here, almost feels like her entire existence, except for her entire existence, is a nightmare, or in Croatian, mora. So her dreams are kind of haunted by this strange being that is trying to kill her, and we find out throughout this novella who the being is, what it is, why is it doing what it is doing, and just how it reflects on Sanya's life, or how Sanya's life reflects what is happening in the dreams. And it was just such an amazing story. I really loved it. I liked the end, how it kind of almost made a full circle, and just it was a complete story. You understood everything, you got an explanation, you got Sanya. I felt for her so much, because I have a loan. I really don't like my job at this moment in time, and it's just very annoying, and just I felt for her so much. And that is basically why I really loved it. But as I say, it's a really grim, dark story. You can feel this is what Antonia, I think, does best. What for me she does best is creates this fantastic atmosphere where you literally can feel what the character feels, and what the whole situation feels like, and the world and the city, or whatever place the character is in. You can feel how it affects the character, and absolutely love that. There was at the beginning one part that was, I'm just gonna tell you because it was very triggering for me. It was similar to sleep paralysis. Well, at least the description kind of emanated that feeling, and I got scared SF, because that is one thing I'm really scared of, and this just kind of threw it out immediately, and it was oh my god, is this gonna be the whole story? But it's not really. So it was absolutely awesome. Next, we have a folk horror story collection that is Mistress of Geese by, yet again, Antonia Mejnaric. I have now read, I think, everything that she has published through Striga. And so, as I said, this is a folk horror story collection. They're short story novellas, kind of based on folk stories with a horror element. So I'll just read through each of the stories, the titles, and tell you what you can expect. So first we have Make a Toast to Spring, which is the story of congoers who end up in kind of some weird state of mind and weird happenings when they drink like kind of alcohol. That's all I'm gonna say. It was brilliant. It is possibly maybe the best thing I have read by Antonia. Like it was like the story is absolutely perfect. You are literally in the mind of the character. You are as as ecstatic, as weirded out, as like crazy as the character. It is so engaging. Like absolutely loved it. It's my favorite novella of the story of the collection. However, it does set, I think, maybe a wrong tone because it is very jarring, extreme, fast paced, and the other stories are a bit slower. So, because I think they're more based on not retelling, but almost retelling stories of different folk like mythologies and stuff, and this is more like a story, like a modern story with elements of like folk taken from folk tales, and it was brilliant. Then we have The Lottery, which is like this crazy post-apocalyptic world with gods and sacrifices and stuff, and just it was just it's long, but it was very interesting, and it even reminded me a bit of The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, like in the the general premise of it. Then we have The Rock at the Bottom, which is about basically Croatian mer people. And I didn't even like, that's the first time I'm hearing of it. It was really awesome and disturbing and scary. And they're like two timelines. And I actually saw the twist in the story, but I didn't mind. The story was still so good in itself that it was just actually a good conclusion, because I was happy, because like, I knew that would happen. And then we have Mistress of Geese, which is just like this story about this girl that is she's very cynical, and she lives like in this little village in the middle of nowhere, and she has to go into town to solve an errand that she got from her, I'll say, employer. That's a very vague description of this story, but it's very interesting, and it's funny, and like the girl, the main character, is very just like cynical, and she has good one-liners, and it was really fun. Actually, for a horror novella, folk horror novella, very funny. And finally, we have The Sound of Wind, which is the story of Bora. Like, this is our most devastating wind in Croatia, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like a story of how Bora lives, what happens to her family, and stuff like that. And it's so cool. Also, so I don't know what to tell you. I just really love the collection, and it's very weird when you love an entire collection, because you always have like a dud, like something that you don't like. But I genuinely like everything in this. It was just brilliant. But the first one, Make a Toast to String, just pure perfection. I will reread it a million times because it was so good. And finally, I get to my SF. I think it wasn't a novella, but it was a quite shorter like book, and that is The Office of Dead Letters by Pat Newman. So I don't even know how to explain this. This is the story. It feels like it's set in like the past, like maybe, I don't know, 50s, 60s, something like that. And we have two main characters who live in who work in this office of dead letters. They literally read letters that have not gone anywhere, and they try to find kind of the addressee, like, and the address. And at one point, one of them disappears. And that's where everything starts to happen. The other main character goes on like a kind of quest to find this first character that disappeared, and we get some other characters involved into finding what has actually happened. And it's very it was very scientific and points, because it deals with not black holes, but like some kind of theory of the universe, universe that is, what is it, coffee cream, beige cream? It's a cream colored place. And I didn't really, I can't reproduce the science here, because like it's beyond me. But at the time that I was reading it and how it was explained and connected to the events, I found it to be very kind of easy to understand in the end. But you have to get to the end to understand everything that was before. So it was quite interesting. Like, we have female main characters. The male characters are, funnily enough, kind of incapable of anything. They're really not that capable, and the whole world is based on a premise that is on a like not a hole in the wall law. Like, how do you say that in English? I don't know. Anyways, there's a law that says that all men need to do something. So kind of the countries exploit the fact that women are not mentioned, so they work this undercover different jobs and stuff like that. So that's one cool part of the world. And it was just a really quick, interesting read. And if you like, as I said, theories of universes, and like if universes can overlap and stuff like that, that this might be like a good book for you. And that is it. I know I didn't do justice for the last book, but I just I don't have the words, I don't know how to explain it to you. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around up to now. Please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos. There are important links down below. Please, if you have any thoughts, any questions, if you want to talk about the books that I mentioned, please talk to me down in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye!